Hi, I'm Brandon, and I'm back again with Ben Metcalf from 3 Minute Horror Reviews, and we're continuing our Child's Play slash Chucky review series. Now we're on to the sixth installment called Curse of Chucky. This one takes it in a different direction. It's the first direct-to-video one. It's got a noticeably lower budget, and it's a smaller story in scale, and it basically takes place 99% in one house.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess let's get started. You want to let us know what you think of this one?
Well, I thought this movie is interesting for me because I went in waves with it. I was not on board in the beginning, and then I got kind of on board, and then I got back off board, and then I got right back on board again. So it was like a roller coaster with this one. There were several times in this movie where I said, "Okay, yeah, I'm with this movie," and then I wasn't, then I was. It's just weird, right? Um, I don't like the look of it. Well, I initially didn't like the look of it all, but they changed it over the course of the thing, and we'll get into that, how they did that. But yeah, initially I wasn't down with how the doll looked. Uh, this one was the first of two that were filmed in Winnipeg, so these are Canadian filmed. Most of the side actors are Canadian actors, other than like Fiona Dourif and the big name people. By the way, this is the first of two movies that Fiona Dourif is the star of, and that is the daughter of Brad Dourif, for the people who don't know, the voice of Chucky. But and we'll get into that a little bit later too. What did you think of this one?
I, so when it first came out, I saw it when it first came out, and I really didn't like it. I
Mhm.
was just very, very disappointed in it. I watched it again last night to refresh my memory for this review, and I'll say I liked it better than I did the first time, but it's still, I'd say it's my least favorite out of all of them so far. It's not horrible. Yeah, you're right. It seems like they had like half hour of a good movie,
Yeah,
but it's like, oh, we need to be an hour and a half, so let's fill it with an hour of other stuff. And it's like, yeah, if you took all the best parts, there is some cool stuff in there, but there's a lot of boring parts. And it's the whole movie is basically like a few people in one house. So there's a lot of just dull kind of stuff that we're there for the killer doll, and they stripped Chucky out of. They took the comedy out of it. They tried to go back
yeah,
to their roots of the horror roots, and I don't think that's a good decision. I don't think Chucky works as well as a horror movie. It's a talking doll. Like, there's something about it, it's always going to be funny. You can't take it that seriously. It's not The Exorcist. And Chucky's become such an iconic character. I even mentioned during our review of Seed of Chucky, there's even a part where he says, like, I'm an icon, like I'm
yeah.
famous. And in this movie, it's like, hey, let's strip all that away from him, and he's just a killer doll again. He used to be funny, him and Tiffany would have their banter, and it was like everything was funny. And now they made him like serious again, and I think they lost something where the movie is just not fun to watch like it used to be.
Yeah. He doesn't actually speak in earnest as Brad Dourif's voice until probably the last third of this movie. So he is, you see him running around, but you don't really hear him become Chucky until much later in this movie. And now it did have some really good scenes. There were some really effective scenes that they wrote into this. So to give you a little bit of background on how this one gets started, Fiona Dourif is a character who is a paraplegic. So her legs don't work. She doesn't feel anything from the waist down, I don't think, or maybe just her legs. I'm not sure because something happens in the next one that makes you think that she feels some stuff, but below her waist. But so Fiona Dourif is a character who's in a wheelchair. She's living with her mother. Her mother appears to be some sort of artist, and she's very overprotective of her daughter, who is handicapped. She is sent a throwback good guys doll, who we don't hear them call. We don't hear it talk at all. Like it doesn't do the whole talking thing until a little bit later. But later that night, Fiona Dourif's in bed. She hears a scream. She hears a crash. She gets herself set up to go downstairs. It takes a little while because she is in a wheelchair and she has a lift that takes her down. It's a really cool looking lift. The house is very cool. There are some questionable things in this house that we'll get into soon that I don't understand, but and I think you probably know what I'm talking about. Uh, But she goes down on this lift and she finds that her mother is dead. Now, her mother has been stabbed in the guts. Like her mother has been gutted, but the police come and they rule that a suicide, which is wild. I don't think that anybody would really do that. Um, uh, in that sort of a situation. They wouldn't take their own life that way. There's no way. But nobody realizes that it's the doll because like, who else was in the house? And nobody seems to know the story of Chucky the killer doll in this
Yeah,
movie.
that was a. There's some major plot points in this
Yeah,
movie, but that was a big one. And
yeah,
at first, it seems almost like this is movie's a different continuity.
yeah,
You might think that at the beginning, but later on, it's not because we
yeah,
see Tiffany. We see they talk about the Barclays and everything. Like
yeah,
we see. Oh, so this movie is in the continuity. So
yeah,
how could this family not know? They were making movies about if there was a real life killer doll killing people,
yeah.
and it was such a famous story that they were making movies about it. How could you not be aware of this doll? Like
Yeah,
it
and
just makes sense.
not to spoil the story, but I mean, at this point, when we are watching these videos, we assume that you've already seen the movie, because otherwise you wouldn't be watching this movie where we spoil the whole thing. But if you are a family that is so directly linked to Charles Lee Ray, the serial killer that inhabited this, the that urban legends say inhabited the doll, the Chucky killer doll, and you get one of these dolls at your house, and you know Charles Lee Ray because he was your fucking neighbor. I mean, chances are you're going to know the story of what
Yeah,
happened, and you're going to suspect something. Holy moly. What a crazy thing.
it just really didn't make sense. And there was little things in the movie. I actually got a
Yeah.
list here. My
Okay.
reference other things that don't quite make
Go for
sense.
it. Yeah.
But we'll get into those in a bit.
Okay.
But yeah, you mentioned the doll's face. I didn't like later on
Yeah.
it changes,
Yeah.
but I didn't like how he looked. It looked
It looked
cheap.
bad.
It just
Yeah.
looked like a low budget imitation of the 1988 movie.
Yeah, exactly. It looked like a fake, and there is a reason for that. And that's when the movie when they revealed why there was a reason why it looked fake. That's when I was like, okay, maybe I'm on board with this movie. That's
Yeah,
what it
it wasn't
turned.
like okay. Like I'm glad they redeemed themselves because
Yeah.
yeah, that was one of my notes. It's like what a shitty looking doll. But then later, like, okay, I get it. But the thing is, like what they try to do in this movie, like you said, Chucky doesn't really become Chucky. Like he doesn't have his personality until
Yeah.
much later in the movie. At the beginning, they go back to, there's a series of suspicious murders,
Yeah.
and who could it be? It's like, we're the sixth movie in by now. We've been through this before of the whole no one suspects the doll, but
Yeah.
we as the audience know it's the doll. That's why I think for parts 4 and 5 with Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky, they're like, forget about that. It's been played out. Everyone knows it's the dolls. Let's just have
Yeah.
the dolls flat out be the killers, and we see them talking, and they're the protagonists.
Yeah.
Now we go back to the old way of doing it, and it's like, come on, this is like 20 years old by this point. Like we've seen it before, and it just there was a lot of cool shots. There was some cool scenes. It's like it's not badly done. It's just after Seed of Chucky and just how fun that was and how crazy it was.
Yeah, this was
Now we're just
felt like a
going
step
back
back.
to a dull version of it, and it was just a lot of it. It's kind of like, come on, just fast forward to the next kill. That's what we're there for. I want to see Chucky being Chucky. I don't want to see people being suspicious of this crappy looking doll.
So the Fiona Dourif's character's name is Nika. So Nika's family comes to her sister specifically, and her sister's husband, their daughter, the nanny, and a priest, a Catholic priest played by A. Martinez, who's a pretty I like that guy. He's been in Longmire. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Uh, they come to um, see about Nika, to stay with Nika while they get the arrangements done for their mother's funeral. And there's a very effective scene that comes up. It's probably the best scene in this whole movie, next to the reveal of Chucky being Chucky, uh, where Nika and the little girl, Alice, are making vegan chili. We could just say chili. I guess it doesn't, we don't need to say vegan chili, but they call it, say vegan chili. So they're making vegan chili, and then they go out to set the table together. And Chucky is left alone with the bowls. And it's all these little bowls. And Chucky pours a whole shit ton of rat poison into one of the bowls. And it was very effective, the dinner scene after that, where you're trying to figure out who's eating the tainted chili. Because it really could have been any of them. And some of them were acting weird, and even the Alice, the little girl, said her chili tasted wrong, and that turns out because it's vegan and it's not real chili, but or it's not real beef chili, I guess. Uh, but yeah, I thought that that was a really effective scene. The way that they played that out with the suspense, very effective. But
I think they went a bit too far with it.
yeah, okay,
I think they were trying to make it too obvious. It's like, yeah, you had the setup. We don't know which one's poison. We already know that. They had to like rub it in our faces because it'd be like it's like, okay, let's dig in, and then the little girl's like about to take a bite,
yeah,
and all of a sudden the dad like grabs her wrist. He's like, wait, and then he's like, I want to say a toast first.
yeah,
It's like, come on, like, and they did a couple of those where it's just like, okay, now you're just being ridiculous with it. They should have just downplayed it a bit. That
yeah.
kind of annoyed me because the scene would have worked better without that. But yeah, it seemed like because was that the first kill after the mom?
Yeah,
I think it was.
yeah, it was.
So it was like, okay, like this is an interesting way to get into the kills, and then they kind of abandon that and they change it, and then it's like the priest leaves abruptly because he feels sick,
Yeah,
which didn't quite make sense. It's like, oh, he's been poisoned, he feels bad, so he's like, oh, sorry, I have to go, and they're like, what's wrong? And he's like, oh, I have another appointment,
yeah.
and then he like rushes out the door, gets in his car, and then crashes and dies.
So he could go home and have bloody diarrhea. That's where he was. He was speeding to have bloody diarrhea.
Yeah, it was. I just thought that was
It was a
a
funny
weird.
death though, because I mean, the cop did exactly what you're not supposed to do when somebody's in a traffic accident like that, and they've got they're kind of stuck with metal. It's like, oh, let's move it. We got to move it so that we can get this guy free. And they move it, and this guy's head pops right off.
I think that might have been like the only. Was that the only scene other than like the very very end? Was that the only scene that wasn't in the house? Because like everything
Yeah,
else is inside the house. Like
yeah.
you
Everything
don't
else
even
is
really,
inside or directly outside.
yeah, like you don't really see much of anything other than just what's in that house.
Yeah,
But then of course there's a lot of drama that the older sister, Nika's older sister, is really mean to her,
yeah,
and she's overbearing too. And then there's a stupid subplot where the older sister is having an affair with the nanny,
yeah,
and then the husband finds out about it and is gonna like blackmail her. There's just a whole lot of stuff that it's like they just had to pad the runtime, so there's
yeah.
story in there that's not Chucky, which is what everyone's there to see.
There was a bunch of red herring stuff too, where they spend about 15 minutes of this thing trying to convince you that the nanny and the husband are having an affair just so that they can do a gotcha and have her making out with the mom. So, I mean, that part was I mean, why try and build it up like that and then or try and build it up longer throughout the whole thing and then do a reveal. I think they revealed it either too quick or they either shouldn't have done it at all or they revealed it too quick.
Yeah, I just found myself not caring. It's
Yeah.
like I know they were trying to be like, oh, here's this exciting drama going on with these people, but it's like, man, I'm here to see the killer doll. Like that's it was just kind of like it just seemed like wasted time. They could have cut that out, and made the movie like 15 minutes shorter, and it would have been a tighter, faster, more enjoyable pace.
So the next kill happens after there's something with Alice. The doll can't be found, and so then Nika finds the doll, delivers it back up to Alice, and the mother has been the mother and the nanny they come out of their embrace because people are walking around looking for things like they're going to get caught. So the nanny goes back to Alice's room, and the mom goes back to the room that she's staying in with her husband. Her husband is passed out, stone cold asleep, and they start webcamming with each other from within the same house. The mom sees Chucky coming around the corner, so she thinks it's Alice, but it's Chucky. Now, here's my problem with this house. Why this house is crazy. Because the laptop is plugged in to a plug, but the plug is not in the wall, it's in the floor. Okay? So, outlets in every house that you've ever seen anywhere. I don't know if this is an actual thing where the outlet is actually in the floor, so you're actually plugging it into the floor, not into the wall, into the floor. But the fact that the plug is in the floor allows Chucky to pour a bunch of water on the floor. It gets into the outlet and then fries this nanny. And I don't know why the house was built that way because this seems like a very obvious safety a safety they've overlooked something big time.
Yeah, I didn't. That was such a stupid death.
Yeah.
It's like I think it's just a trope in movies in general
Yeah.
that people get electrocuted so easily.
Yeah.
Like if you were on a laptop and you just like spilt some water or some liquid like on even on the power bar or something,
Yeah.
it's not going to kill you. And she's just like electrocuted. Her like eye burns out.
It looked
Like
like it was going to pop, and I thought that would have been cool, but it didn't.
it was such a ridiculous thing. It's like man, it'd be like half the population of the world would be dead from electrocution if just like moisture could get in something like that. I'm just like, come on, like the last two movies had such cool inventive deaths.
Yeah.
Now we're resorting to stuff like this, and everything just seemed like it was a contrived plot device just to make the story happen.
Yeah.
It's like why like the older sister and the nanny who are having an affair, they're like, oh, like they're FaceTiming with each other within the same house. Not only that, but the nanny is in the same room with the little girl. Like, if you're going to be doing this type of stuff online, don't do it when there's a child in the room
Yeah.
and you're already in the same house. So why not just stay up together? No one's going to think it's suspicious if you're just sitting up there. You know, the husband goes to bed early or whatever, and
Yeah.
his wife's just chatting with the nanny in the living room. That's not suspicious, and it's way better than like, hey, let's go. I'm going to sit next to my husband, who I think is asleep. Meanwhile, the person she's having an affair with is in a room with a small child.
Yeah.
This is the time they pick to have a some sort of like flirty conversation. It's like that.
The element of danger.
Yeah, and I also don't buy it that the older sister is watching the nanny on the video and sees Chucky walk by
And think it's Alice.
and thinks it's the dog. You
Yeah.
can't tell the difference between like a foot and a half tall redheaded doll and your
Yeah.
own kid. Like it's like, come on, that was obviously not your kid. Uh, this movie was full of things like that that just pissed me off because it's like you're just doing that to have the next plot point. There's a part later where the husband reveals that he hid a video camera in Chucky so that
Yeah.
he could spy on his wife, and he knows that she's having an affair. And he's like, if you basically blackmails her, like I could show this to anyone, and I would get custody of the kid, and I'd screw you over. And later he's watching the video back to get evidence of what happened,
Yeah.
and you see Chucky running around with his camera in there. And doesn't the husband clue in that this doll's walking around on its own? He doesn't seem to notice that. He's just watching it,
Yeah.
what's
He doesn't
happening.
clue in until it's too late.
Yeah, until it's like, oh, it's the doll's coming up behind us now.
Yeah.
It's like, how could you not notice that?
Yeah, in between there, they show that Charles Lee Ray was in their home movies from when the mother was pregnant with Nika. Charles Lee Ray is just like the creepy weirdo who's at the older sister's birthday party, just looking like a creep, watching the kids, and so that seems shoehorned in as well. I think that was Don Mancini's way of trying to tie everything together, and he does kind of at the end, but I mean, it's really contrived. The older sister encounters Chucky. I believe it's in the attic, or it's somewhere up high because she falls downstairs afterwards. But she encounters the doll and she gets a really good close look at the face. And this is the part that Brandon and I were talking about, where she notices that there's some sort of plasticine or something. There's some sort of makeup on this doll, like special effects makeup or something like that. Uh, and she starts peeling it off, and she encounters all the different scarred, uh, stitched up bits of the doll that we would have seen in the previous films. And that I thought was really cool. And that's when he becomes Brad Dourif and he says something snarky to her right before he pokes her eye out.
Yeah, for like that moment on, the movie's pretty
Yeah.
cool. But going back to the whole movies thing,
Yeah.
that's another trope that we've seen way too much in horror movies, where you're watching an old home movie and oh, look in the background there.
Yeah.
there's a person or a ghost or some sort of clue that ties into the movie. It's like we've seen that so many
Oh yeah.
times. I don't know why they need to do that here.
There's a whole movie about it. It's called Sinister.
So, yeah, and also this movie, interesting enough, we finally get this. Other than the opening scene of the very first movie, where we see Charles Lee Ray fleeing the police and he gets killed, and he
Yeah.
first puts his soul into the doll. We haven't actually seen Brad Dourif slash Charles Lee Ray in this movie. There's some flashback scenes in black and white that we actually get to see him acting and stuff, and it's so
Yeah.
weird to hear Chucky's voice coming from a human being.
Yeah, especially from a guy who's really, really old and they didn't even bother to try and de-age him other than, I don't know,
I don't think they had the I don't think they had the technology to de-age him, but yeah, he's noticeably
or
older than he
possible.
was in the
Yeah.
first movie.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was cool that they kind of tried to tie it back to the whole thing. And the reason why Nika is the way she is because right before Charles Lee Ray was executed by the police, the reason why he was on the run into the toy store is because he had had Nika's mother captive. And right when she was about to give birth, he stabbed Nika in the womb with a knife, which caused her all sorts of difficulties. And it is why she is the way she is. And then he went on the run because the cops were trying to get him, and that's when he became Chucky. Spoiler for the end of the movie. But there is stuff that happens before that. Some pretty cool stuff too.
Yeah, there's a lot of just them fighting off Chucky, and
Yeah,
it's actually quite effective. I think before there was just so much useless, kind of boring stuff in between that the first
yeah,
time I watched it, I'd given up by the time we got to the end. Where now it's like, okay, if you just get past that, there is some pretty effective, nicely done stuff with you know the people fighting a killer doll, which is kind
yeah,
of the original what Chucky's supposed to be. And you finally see Chucky with his stitched up face, which I've
yeah,
grown to like. So they redeem themselves of having, and they even explain why they had the shitty looking doll.
yeah.
It's like Chucky just put his own makeup over his scars. So it's like, oh, okay, I can forgive him for that. And yeah, the ending's actually pretty cool.
The end ending is a very strong ending of this movie. That's where they tie everything all together. But Nika does some cool fighting too. She uses her paralyzed legs to her advantage too. Since she can't feel anything in her legs, Chucky tries to go after her with an axe. She takes it full on in the leg. She just swings her leg out there, so her leg takes that, and then she pulls the axe out of her leg and gets him. Um, it's pretty neat. She does take quite a spill at one point. She falls down pretty hard. This is right near the end, and Chucky leaves her for dead as the cops are arriving, so that it looks like she did the whole thing, because that's what Chucky does, or that's what Chucky did initially in the movies, is make it look like the protagonist of the movie is the bad guy, and that's what he did in this one too.
And that's where I have a hard because the next scene we see is that Nika is in court. She's been declared legally insane and she's going to be locked up in a mental institution forever. At this point, isn't it common knowledge that the doll did it? Like we have multiple
Yeah,
police officers, all sorts of other credible people that said it's the doll that did it. Not only that, but they have that video camera, the hidden video that was in Chucky,
yeah,
showing that he did all the murders. Like, wouldn't her attorney bring that up?
they sure
Like,
do.
I
Yeah.
don't get why they don't even consider the fact that maybe her story's true. But it's like, okay, whatever. And then we cut to a scene later where Alice, the young daughter,
Yeah.
she's living with her grandma now, and Chucky. Oh yeah, we get a surprise. The cops are taking the evidence away after the trial, the Chucky doll. All of a sudden, Tiffany, like full grown Jennifer Tilly,
Yeah.
pops up in the back seat, slits his throat, and then she mails Chucky doll to young Alice, and then it kind of ends with him putting his soul into her.
She's two for two with crooked cops transporting Chucky.
Yeah.
And then, and then there is the post-credit scene.
Oh, I didn't watch that. What is it?
Oh, you didn't watch it?
I
Oh my
didn't
God.
know there was one.
It's Andy Barclay.
Oh, okay.
So the doll was mailed. So Jennifer Tilly slash Tiffany mailed the doll to Andy Barclay. Okay. And as Andy Barclay opens up, and it's Alex Vincent, not the kid who played him in the third movie, but the kid who played him in the first two movies. It's that Andy Barclay.
And he's
He
like an
op
adult now, right?
Yeah, he's an adult now. He opens up the thing, and it's a Chucky doll. And just as the Chucky doll is about to say, like, what do you know, Andy Barkley, or something like that, or remember me? All of a sudden, it swings to the side, and Andy Barkley's got a shotgun on him, and then boom,
Oh,
he was
nice.
ready. You got to watch that one. Holy crap!
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch that now.
There's a post-credit scene after Cult of Chucky too. If you didn't watch that one, you got to go watch
Oh
that
yeah,
one
I'll
too.
keep that in mind. Yeah,
Yes.
I was gonna mention. I think it should just be a general rule in Chucky world.
Yeah.
If you get a package delivered to your house that's just big enough to hold a good guy doll
Yeah.
and there's no return address on it,
Throw it in
don't
the
open
compactor.
the package.
Incinerate it immediately. It's not a PlayStation 5, it's a Chucky doll.
It's the same at the end of Seed of Chucky. It's like, oh, here's a weird thing that came in the mail addressed to our kid.
Yeah,
No
that is
return
doll
address.
sized.
Hey, just take this package and go off and open it on your own. It's going to lead to something bad.
Yeah.
Oh, so what would you give this one?
I gave this one a 6 out of 10. It was definitely not my favorite. It's the start of things that I felt like they were going to go downhill from there. Uh, we'll talk about the next one when we come to it. But this one was a bit of a lower point for me. It's still not a bad movie. There was no jank CGI. It all seemed to be practical effects. It was a smaller scale. But like I said, I was on a roller coaster with this one. I was not on board, then I wasn't, and then I was. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to give it a 5. Like I said, I think that
Mhm.
the parts with Chucky are cool. There's even the part where he's like under the covers with the young girl and she's
Yeah.
talking to him,
Yeah.
and then she's like, "I'm scared" because it's like storming or whatever, and then
Yeah.
he's like, all of a sudden his face comes to life,
Yeah.
and he's like, "You fucking should be" or something like that,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, that's cool. It's
Yeah.
like, why couldn't the whole movie be like that? I think they just I think they were limited with their budget and the fact that they had a small cast and everything had to be in one house.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a lot they could do, and there's only so many murders they could have, so they had to have a whole lot of other kind of boring stuff, wasting time, and the whole relationship with the mom and the older sister and the younger sister. It would have been better. Its best moments, like they should have had more of that, basically.
Maybe Brad Dourif's hourly rate was too high.
Yeah,
I don't
that too.
know. All
Yeah,
right.
so I guess that's it for that one. So we'll be
Yeah.
back next time with Cult of Chucky. We'll see if things get any better. And thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.
I'm gonna say before we leave, I
Oh,
didn't realize that Curse of Chucky or Cult of Chucky ever existed until we sat down to watch them for this.
oh,
I didn't
oh,
even know they were a thing. I knew Seed of Chucky was there, and I knew there was a remake. Didn't know these two movies existed. So they're
oh,
new.
there you
Okay, bye.
go. Bye, everyone.